Our question today is a pretty straightforward one. Can somebody please explain domestic discipline in plain, not too kinky terms?
So the first thing that comes to my mind is being tripped up a little bit by the notion of not too kinky, in that domestic discipline is not the norm anymore, and thus it is a little bit inherently kinky. It's, if you talk about it in polite society, you're going to get a pretty significant side eye, and thus just that notion is inherently kinky. Part of the reason it's hot, part of the reason it is erotic, is that the woman has chosen this style of relationship. She's not a woman who's holding herself accountable in the same way. She's not a woman who gets to pick and choose whether she follows her husband's rules. She follows his rules, or else there is physical disciplinary consequences. And she has chosen to submit to being in a relationship that operates in that style. And so it's erotic, but it's also emotional. There's a notion that she will be held accountable, and that can be very satisfying, I think, to many women, frankly. That rather than trying to struggle to hold themselves accountable, to say, oh, well, I need to do this or do that, it's easier and more fun and more pleasurable and more erotic to say, well, I need to do the dishes, otherwise my husband's going to spank me, right? I think that there is, I've talked about this in other episodes, and something our society is very uncomfortable with, which again makes it kinky, a hierarchy of respect. There's men, women, children, pets, objects. And if you treat a man like a woman, or you make him dress like a woman, that's humiliating. If you treat a woman like a child, that's humiliating. And part of what's happening with a spanking is she's being put over your lap and being given the spanking like a child. And she's not being treated as an adult in some way who's, responsible. Again, there's a humiliation, eroticization of what's happening there. And so it's hard to completely separate from the kink, but because there's always a sexual component there because it is in the shadow. However, the non-sexual aspects are ones of, it's just easier to be motivated when you know that for a submissive woman, when she knows that there is an immediate consequence. And so rather than putting the dishes off, well, if she's going to get a spanking, if she puts it off, it's easier for her to be like, oh, I got to do this. And to fulfill that role, to fulfill that place that she wants to be in, that sense of connectedness with her desired place in her family. There are emotions other than arousal that tend to occur during domestic discipline kind of spankings, whether that's maintenance spankings or punishment spankings. And the description I have always found a bit interesting. So many submissive women describe it as calming. They find a sense of safety and security in it. The notion that, oh, daddy really is in charge. The notion that I am being held accountable. I'm being watched. My following the rules matters because I'm not just being cast adrift. And I've made this mistake when I was young, actually, in one of my early relationships. I would set up a rule and then I wouldn't check or enforce it. And my partner, I think, felt cast adrift, felt very, well, wait, I was following it, and then when I didn't, nothing happened. And so does he really care? It felt unloving, I think, to her. And so learning from that experience to say, oh, actually, the point of punishment is not punishment per se. It's the sense of care for our relationship. It's the sense that I am paying attention and that the rules that I've created matter and you're following them matters. And when you follow them, you please me to the degree that I am displeased when you don't.
You are expending energy to maintain the container that you've created, right? Deliberately.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And I think that makes women feel safe. It makes them feel like they are being contained. I think that there's calmness and security. The reason calmness and security come up with those experiences and why those emotions are present is they are reassured that they are being held. And that's an important framing, especially for a submissive woman, I think.